You know, so a lot of guys have problems with that. They can't tell. Well, they'll say, "Well, I don't know if she likes me, and I don't know if she don't like me either." But I would say, and in my experience, I might not know if a woman likes me, but I know if she don't like me. I'll pick up on that. I'll pick up on the dislike much quicker than the likes.
Because like this is something I want to add to what you're talking about, that like
Welcome to another episode of the Love Can't Wait podcast. I'm your host, Sharp Game. So like and share this episode. So today, I'm going to have another great conversation with another guest. And I think this is going to go down as another classic, you know. But before I get into that, any emails you would like me, any messages, any questions, any concerns you would like, send it to renegademoney@gmail.com or just click the link below. That's the email that you can reach me and send me any questions, any concerns, or any guests you would like me to bring on. You know, just send me an email, let me know, and I'll try to get them on. You know, I've interviewed quite a few people since I started the Love Can't Wait podcast. So let me know. That's how you reach me, you know. renegademoney@gmail.com. So with that being said, my guest today is a very unique person, if I don't say so myself, in my opinion. She's a trained sex and relationship coach. She teaches people how to become more intimate, or how to develop more intimate connections with themselves and others. She's been working with couples and singles for over 4 years now. And we're going to have a wonderful conversation. And I've been looking forward to this. So my special guest is Lyuba. Venable. Welcome to the show. So, where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Ukraine. Right now, I live in San Diego, California.
Oh, nice. I used to be in the Navy, so I was stationed in San Diego for a couple of months.
Oh my God, that's great. But what's your one favorite place? Where should I go here in San Diego?
I like downtown.
Okay.
Like downtown. And the beaches. Yeah, I like downtown and the beaches.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. I have friends there and everything.
That's amazing. Yeah, let me know when you come visit your friends.
Oh, I will. Yeah. So, how'd you get started in the dating space, relationship space? Because this is not something that we don't go to college for this, and this is not like our dream job. When I grow up, I want to help people with their relationships. So how'd you get started?
Yeah, because when I was choosing my like college, like which profession to choose, I chose software engineering because
Yeah.
it sounded cool and that it will
Yeah.
bring you a lot of money.
Yeah.
So this is what I did for 13 years. So that I was software engineer, then I was QA manager. And then it's like 3 years ago. It's like before COVID started, I was doing in personal training, where they help like to really help. They help you understand what drives you, like what is that life mission, like what do you really, really want to do in life. And I went through this whole several weekends and I was just diving inside myself. And then there was exercise when they lifted, like a group of people lift you in the air. So they lifted me in the air and I felt like I'm flying. And there was this clear picture that I can't fly if I don't teach about sex. That it's just, that it's so important. And I saw people like so many people there very angry with me because I'm not doing sex education. So as I landed on the ground, I knew, okay, I have to do something about it because it's almost like my life stops. That, like how I have family, I have a job, like everything is great, but it's still like not fully alive. And so that was the starting point when I realized it. I thought, you know what? It totally makes sense because when I was a teenager, I was like curious about sexuality and I started asking my mom and she got all awkward and weird and not comfortable talking, right? And then she recommended me to wait, like to keep my virginity, to wait till I find the right person. And so I waited until 20 years old and it was like already, kind of stressing out, like, oh, is it too late? Is it okay? And then I finally met a person that I fell in love and decided this is the right person. And then the experience wasn't as magical as I hoped for. Like he was a virgin, I was a virgin. So it was really awkward and not fun. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, that's it. And then I tried talking to my mom, talking to my friends, and no one is talking, So it's like, okay, I thought sex is something so amazing, and then it wasn't amazing, and then where I go from there, right? And there was nowhere. Like at that time, sex coaching didn't exist, internet even didn't exist. No. I decided that sex is not for women. And so that was kind of.
Wait a minute, hold on. How'd you come up with that?
Because I ended up marrying the person who was my first sexual partner. We ended up getting married because we loved each other. We wanted to be together. And I didn't want to have sex. Like after that first experience, it just like my whole body didn't. But he wanted.
Yeah.
Right. And so I thought, okay, as a good partner, as a good wife, I have to give it to him, even I don't want it. Right. And so that's how I decided that, maybe it is for men, but not for women. And we stayed together 7 years, and I was, like having headaches, having like belly aches, having anything not to have sex. But then once in a while I would still have it. And I learned to numb myself because I didn't enjoy it. So it's almost like I could lay there and read a newspaper while he's having sex with me, it can sound funny, but it was a horrible experience. And so finally we decided to separate. And I had sex with someone I just met, and it was amazing sex. First time in my life. I was already 27 years old, I was wow, I really enjoyed it. And that was the beginning of my enjoying sexuality stage. When I went for 2 years, I went wild. I had so many partners. I tried orgies. I tried everything because I was like, oh my God, I'm enjoying it.
Go ahead. Continue.
Because it just like it goes on that. And then during those 2 years, I really enjoyed sex a lot. But then the intimacy was missing.
Yeah.
And I thought that it's the same scene, that when I have sex, I will have closeness with person. So a lot of times I was craving to get close with someone, to get really intimate, and I would go for sex, but that closeness didn't happen. So I was just completely like, what's going on? Just not understanding. And then later, when I went to my first sex, love, and relationship workshop, I learned that intimacy and sex are two different things. That you can have intimacy with a child, with parent, with friend. It's not sexual at all. And then sex is when we have desire and genitals involved, right? And they can come together. We can bring them together, and that's an amazing, tremendous experience. But they don't necessarily come together, right? And so I didn't know that. No one taught me. Like, did anyone teach you?
No.
Right?
No, I had the same, a very similar experience that you had. I was just, I went in the Navy and I started meeting all these women and started having all the sex. Didn't know what I was doing. And and then, you know, over time, it just evolved into, okay, I want more of a connection with a woman. Just having sex all the time is one thing, but what about the intimacy part? What about the connection part? And then I found someone that I had the connection with, and that's when I was like, oh, this is like next level. Same thing. But no one talks about it. No one still talks about it. I think we're probably the only.
But yeah, we got and talk about it, right? But then a lot of times when I have clients in my office, they hear for the first time that sex and intimacy are two different things, and they go, what, really?
Yeah.
And then we create intimacy. I'm like, okay, you heard intimacy, let's experience it. And it's fascinating how within 15 minutes it's easy to get close with someone who was just a stranger.
Yeah.
That we can do it, like we can get close. It's just, again, no one teaches us.
Yeah. And you know, the myth is that you, in order to be have a connection or an intimacy with somebody, you have to know them for a long time.
Yes.
That's not true.
Yes. Yes, and I can prove it. I experience it over and over and over. When I open the door, I see client for the first time. It's a total stranger. I feel nervous. They feel nervous. It's like two strangers in the room. And then 1 hour later, we feel like the closest people. And as they're leaving, we are sharing hug, and it feels so close and so amazing. So it happens like with anyone.
And you can't really explain it. It's like a energy. It's like a vibe. Either y'all have it or you don't, and you can't force it either. A lot of couples try to force it. You can't do it. You know, either y'all have it or you don't. I don't know why. I don't know why it's like that.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I think what you're talking right now, it's chemistry.
Yeah.
That how we have chemistry, right? With certain person, we have this like something that it feels so just amazing, magical, right? And with someone else, they're a good person. They make a lot of money. They look handsome. They whatever, right? Like they check all the points, and that magic is not happening. Yeah. So, but I call that chemistry. And then intimacy. When I talk about intimacy, I believe I have exercises that I believe intimacy can be created between anyone. It's like you don't have to fall in love with that person, right? But just to feel close.
Yeah.
There is like it can be created.
I think it's possible, but the world that we live in, it probably won't happen because people don't want to put the time and the work in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's impossible. I believe it can happen over time, but the way people move so fast, and as soon as one person feels like, hey, she's just not for me, or he's just not for me, or or
Mhm.
something's missing, or they say all kinds of stuff. So
Yeah.
it probably won't happen between them because they just one person thinks one thing, the other person think one thing, one person assume one thing, the other person don't think one thing. So
Yeah, exactly. The intention has to be there. And again, like no one teaches us.
no,
So if only people knew how to do it, and then so many people never experienced it, which is another sad thing. But when you experience it and how good it feels, then I want to create this intimacy with many people in my life. And then the interaction feels rich, right? That
yeah,
it's like we are connected. um I have retreats, like a 3-day retreats where people get into the place and they don't know each other, and then we do these exercises, right? And create intimacy, connect, and but by the end, like in 3 days, it feels they're asking, where did you find such awesome people? How do you make it that like such amazing people show up? And the trick is that when people feel closeness, then everyone feels amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. But we live in a world where people are moving so fast. People got their jobs. They got kids, and all kind. And they got the mom got sick, the dad got sick. The mom yelled at me yesterday, and the boss yelled at me. I'm stressed out, and there's so much. People have too much going on. And
Yeah.
that blocks a lot of their personal stuff that they're going on in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what was that transition like from your job to doing this? Because it's hard going from that cushy job, especially you went to college, you did these 13 years, and how was that transition?
Yeah, that's you're shooting just into the heart. Because it's not easy. There are part that is very hard, and there is part that is super enjoyable. So the hard part, that I'm not getting regular paycheck every 2 weeks, when you have job, either you did good job or not, you delivered project or not, the paycheck arrives and arrives, right? And here I am in charge to make it happen, to do all the magic, right?
Yeah.
And then like feeling like a beginner, because after doing it for 13 years, I was making a lot of money and feeling like very comfortable, right? Because I'm an expert. And right now, even this topic is just so exciting for me. It's so much more exciting, believe me, than computer science. Like I feel like with computer science, I forced myself to do every homework. When I was doing my training on sex and relationship coaching, I am just like, I'm so hungry. I am sitting in the training, and then I'm practicing this and practicing that, right? So like the passion really helps to learn fast and to incorporate. And then when I spent like days seeing clients, and in my practice it's experiential. So when we create the intimacy, like we do touch. So I touch my client, they touch me. We have boundaries. We don't touch genitals, and like we stay close on. But we run sexual energy. We experience intimacy. So it's like it's a very real experiential process all day long, right? And I see what happens for people, that like how they have realizations, and how it just like that spark in the eyes, that someone comes really sad and then there is like they're leaving with this hope in their eyes. It just feeds my soul. And by the end of the day, I feel, wow, like I can't believe I'm paid for it. Like I can't believe that I can call it work, because it feels like I'm having such a great time. Like I didn't feel it at my software job. By the end of the day, I was exhausted.
Yeah, I worked in IT for a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it can be in that line of work, it's too much structure it's not really set up for you to be passionate about computers and software. It's not really set up for that. Everything is kind of like broad, and it's just black and white, and and it's either this or that. You know,
Yeah.
There's too much structure involved. It's not flexible. It's not a flexible working environment. You know,
It is, and there are people who really love it. Like when I worked at Google, I saw those engineers who don't leave at midnight. Like they stay. It's almost like they're sleeping there. They just. As well, it boils down that we are all different.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm more people person. Like I enjoy like talking, connecting, interacting, and when I'm with computer, I don't get the same.
No, most of those people I've met are not people. They're not people, but they don't like being around people. They kind of like being by to themselves. Yeah, like nerds and geeks and whatever. Oh my God. Yeah, so that makes the job, in my opinion, kind of difficult, bored sometimes, But hey, if they love it, hey, more power to them,
Yeah. Yeah, and my struggle was that at that time I was single and I was in this building full of men, because in software mostly engineers are men, right? So and I'm heterosexual, so I am into men, and I would just like wear a nice dress and hoping for some attention, and there was zero attention. That was like, oh my God.
No, most of them guys were like, oh no, I'm not doing it. No, you might have one or two might thought about it, but they at the last second no, I'm not. Never mind. No. No. Because there's a lot of politics on jobs, and a lot of people, a lot of guys in particular, don't want to take a chance that the relation, even if let's say you go on a date with a woman on a job, and a lot of guys are afraid that it might go wrong. So they're like, okay, if it goes wrong, now I still have to work with this woman. I have to work with this person. And now, they might go back to HR and say I did this and did that. And so that's why a lot of guys, and even some women, will say, no, I don't date on the job. No.
Yeah, I get that aspect. And here, like a lot of them, like they don't date anyone, because there is again, like now many of them are my clients when we have sessions, and we literally, like, I'm teaching them how to flirt, like what to do on a date.
Yeah,
a lot of times there is that fear, and like no one teaches you how to do that, right?
Yeah.
Like how to say compliment, like how to make a move.
Yeah, because I think there's I guess there's like a line between, a fine line between flirting and being offensive to some people. A lot of guys will say, well, I don't want her to take it the wrong way. So I said, well, just compliment her on her shoes. She can't take that the wrong way. Either you like it, or you don't. But stay away from the dress. Stay away from the dress. You can compliment on the dress, but don't say, hey, I like the way I like your curves in the dress. No, don't say that. That's unless you know her, you personally, and you spent time around her and you know her well enough. Okay, that's different. But if you don't know her, don't make comments like that. That could go somewhere else on the job.
Yeah. I get that. And what works really well, like complimenting eyes, or like your smile, that and not that like that objectifying, right? That you have like certain shape of lips, or certain like that you're beautiful. A lot of times it's like, oh, but that's not my achievement. It's not me, right? But then like complimenting how I feel, that like, oh, like you're smiling and it feels comfortable. I feel like talking to you. Just getting in that flow of really connecting with your body, and then it flows naturally. So that's what we explore when I'm working with someone, that like helping them to pass those fears and barriers, because in our society, men have to make a move when it's heterosexual, right? Yeah. And it's super sad. I have so much empathy for men, because I just realized recently that I never had to worry to make a move, because usually in this dynamic, man does it. And I never appreciated it. I just recently, when I work with them, I started to really appreciate it. It's hard.
And that's a great thing, because a lot of women don't get approached. That's good. That's good. That men approach you a lot. A lot of women don't get approached a lot at all. And a lot of times, a lot of guys can't tell if a woman would be interested in them, or is interested in them, or attracted to them. So what I've seen over the past 20 years, especially working these corporate jobs, is if a woman doesn't like you, don't compliment her. Now I'm talking, if she don't like you, don't give her no compliments. That could go somewhere. Because I've seen instances where a woman went to HR and said, hey, this guy keeps telling me about my dress and my shoes and my hair. He's harassing me. So I said, so I just listened to his story, and he said, I asked him what happened. He said, well, every day I see her when she's coming out the elevator for the past, I don't know, month or two. I just say, hi, good morning, whatever. You look good today, or whatever, or something like that, right? I said, oh, she just didn't like you, that's all, But he didn't know, he couldn't tell, she just ain't interested. She don't like you. And that's okay. So a lot of guys have problems with that. They can't tell. They'll say, well, I don't know if she likes me, and I don't know if she don't like me either. But I would say, and in my experience, I might not know if a woman likes me, but I know if she don't like me. Oh yeah, I'll pick up on that. I'll pick up on the dislike much quicker than the likes.
Because like this is something I want to add to what you're talking about, that like creepy. There is a fear of showing up as creepy, right? Yeah. And on women's side, we're like, oh, like that guy is creepy. Yeah. Like I don't like creepy guys, right? And I was like really thinking, what makes it creepy? And what came up, that exactly what you're saying, that if I don't like a guy and he's like making move, it feels creepy. Yeah. But if I like a guy, whatever he does, like for the most part, like I just like it. It feels great. It doesn't feel creepy at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's I think that's a major problem. Because if a woman likes you, man, you can say almost anything. And even if you go overboard, she'll be like, hey, don't say it like that. Say it like this. That sounds better. But that's the only reason she's doing that, because there's some type of interest there. Now if she didn't like you at all, then she'd be like, oh, he's kind of creepy. Simple things as that. It's like it made such a big difference.
Yeah. And there is advanced stuff that we probably don't have to cover right now, that let's say there is a woman who doesn't like you, but you really like her. Yeah. You can still do things to turn it around, but you have to use some advanced stuff.
Yeah. A lot of times, if you have the chance to do that, a lot of times, a lot of guys, you just don't have the opportunity to kind of like switch that, the vibe between the woman. A lot of times, you might, especially if you're at the job, you only have but so much time to talk, because a lot of people at these jobs, they kind of on the move. They going to lunch. They're coming into lunch. They're coming in the morning, or They might be going down the hallway, so you don't really have a lot of time to talk. So it's a lot of times you can, if a woman might not be attracted to you, it's possible that you could, she could come around, but most of the time it's a lot of, if you have the chance, it's possible.
yeah. And another thing that, like, again, there are exceptions, but generally speaking, like, men mostly visual, like when it comes to attraction, and women are not visual. So for women, attraction comes from this like sense, smell, how I feel, right? So a lot of times what happened to me, that like there is a guy that like I don't like him, like I don't find him attractive at all, and then he gets closer and he starts talking, and I feel something so amazing just next to him that I start liking him.
Yeah, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. But a lot of that depends on where you met her at, the environment, and all that stuff, man. But I always say, man, I tell a lot of guys, when it comes to jobs, just get a phone number and try to talk outside the job. That's
don't do it at job.
It's difficult.
That's your advice. See, I met my husband at work.
Yeah. Now there's always an exception to the rule. But for the most part, I've known a lot of people that met at the jobs. I know some, a lot of them. But for the most part, I've heard some horror stories. Guys, they get fired. I said, "Oh man, that's messed up, man." So, and I always say too, if you don't care about the job, if it's just you just working at, I don't know, restaurant or something like that, okay, hey, knock yourself out and go for it. But if you care about that job, you got to be careful. You gotta be careful. Yeah, definitely. Like that's it's safer not to do it at work unless there is a special person. Yeah.
If you feel like there is a special person that they become so important, that like work maybe becomes less important, right? That job.
Go for it.
And it totally worth it.
There's always exception to the rule, like I always say. But do you meet a lot of people that, let's say they've been married for a while? Well, they don't necessarily gotta be married, but let's say they maybe they've been married or lived together for a while, or maybe dated for a while, and they're sexless. That's like, I feel like every couple. I don't even know, is it every second couple? But it's I think that's like an epidemic in North America.
Epidemic, yes.
Yeah, people just like, they're like buddies after a couple of years. I'm like,
yeah. So in my opinion, like in this, in all of the training that I did, and so what I experienced, because I went through it with my husband, that at first when we meet, we have NRE, new relationship energy, right? When it's called honeymoon phase, when all the hormones are playing, and it doesn't matter what you do with that person, just touching their knee feels so good, just like the best. Right? And everything you do feels amazing. And this is the time when we get married and decide to have children. But then that phase passes, the hormones
it changes,
released, right? And then I think the mistake people do a lot of times, that they expect that it will still come naturally, like in this NRE, right? It's just like the desire is constantly there, and for a while we have to make it a priority. We have to put some work, some investment in that to make it work, because there is core desire for every person. Every person has core desire. It's how the feeling I want to have when I'm sexual, and it's connected to our childhood. So this core desire, we don't choose it. For some people it's something they really like, they have that desire. And for others, it can be something like negative. But it's when we have that core desire during sex, this is when sex becomes like the best experience. And I think this is what important to bring into couple, like when two people are together and they already passed the honeymoon phase, to find that core desire. Like, what is core desire? What feels for them so good that when I'm being sexual, the orgasm doesn't matter. It's like that feeling, it's like shakes the whole universe, right? So find that for both partners and find how to bridge it. And this is when sex, even outside of beginning, right, outside of NRE, becomes so enjoyable. So that's what we did with my husband, that when we had our first child, the sex disappeared, like there is a lot of stress. It's already was time, like 2 years past NRE. And then, it felt like not wanting to have sex ever again. But then finding these core desires and really introducing new scenes, it sparked it, and then we keep going, we keep discovering new scenes. The more I work with my clients, the more I discover stuff for me, which is it's an ongoing journey. It's so fascinating.
Yeah, somebody told me years ago, when you teach other people something, you start to pick up little things as you go along as well. Yeah. Somebody told me that. Yeah.
Or how they say that people who teach something, they're the ones who need to learn it the most.
I heard that too.
Right? Yeah. So it doesn't come from the place that like, oh, you know what? I had such a great sex my whole life. Let me teach you. It comes from a place, I didn't have great sex. I wanted, but I didn't. I didn't know how. And like, let me teach you. And while I'm teaching you, I keep discovering for myself.
Yeah, I think almost everybody that I know that's been together for a long time went through some little phase of sexlessness. Yeah, it might not be 2 years or a year. It could be a couple months or something like that. But almost everybody go through a little phase, and a lot of times I guess it's like kids involved. She had a baby. People started working a lot, or something. And a lot of times they have to reset and put things in priorities and perspective or whatever, and a lot of people they think that I don't know how this came about, but they think that everyone's supposed to stay the same as we get older.
That is so not true.
Yeah, no, no. As you get older, how are you going to stay the same? No.
You don't, but see, like you can look at it that as you get older, the stuff decreases, right? That like less sex, like less health, like less of everything, right? But then what if you look differently, that as you get older, you have all this life experience which contributes, right? And then like I know people that like for women, menopause, it's like, okay, after menopause, everything is done. And this is so not true. I know women who have like, they started ejaculating after menopause, or their orgasm got more intense. Or like someone 65 years old is saying like, I am having the best sex of my life, finally.
Yeah, I know a woman that's like that. I'm like, that's weird.
But how about men? Isn't it the same for men?
Some guys, yeah. Some guys are like that. They go through this phase where I'm old, man. I ain't interested in women no more. Now they might be, they'll hang with women, but just sexually, this is not interesting. I'm old. I'm like, my uncle 80 years old. It just varies from. It just depends on the person when it comes to a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
It just, I think if a guy's in good health, well, men and women, if they're in good health, right mindset, they still be having sex until they die.
and who, like your environment, like your surrounding, people who are around you, right? Because I grew up in Ukraine, hearing that when you turn 40, that's already, like everything goes down the hill. Like you're too old.
Yeah.
And I'm turning 40 next week, and it's just like I feel the most sexual in my life. Like in my 20s, I didn't feel as sexual, I feel attractive. Like I feel great in my 40. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's in some cultures like that. It's like when a woman gets past 35, she's done. She's no good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? I don't necessarily buy into all that. I mean, yeah, she's older. Maybe she can't have kids anymore, but I don't think she's done. That's
right.
So a lot of guys, like, hey, I don't want her anymore. I need a younger woman now. I'm like, well, okay, I'll take her. Yeah, because my grandmother told me that everyone gets used, but just don't misuse them. You don't have to throw someone away or just because they get older. And it's like I just never bought into a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. And I want to speak to those men who like I know with my clients that when men get older, like the erection is like it's harder to maintain erection.
Yeah.
That right, like for younger guys, like they're erect all the time. Sometimes they don't want it. They're like, no, don't get hard, and it's always there.
There's a difference. Oh, I can tell. Yeah.
Okay, so you can confirm that getting older, like it's harder to maintain erection, and this is the moment when I want to say that there is so much fun to have with soft penis. Like even when erection is not there, like somehow both men and women think that, oh, like if I have erection, it means that I am like attracted. It's great, but when I don't have erection, everything is lost. And women would think like, oh, he doesn't have erection right now. He's not attracted. That is not true, right?
They do say that. Yeah. Some of them do say that.
But that is not true.
No, it's not true.
Yeah. Because it's like erection is like this like turn on, turn off. Like it happens and it goes with women. Like if we had penis, it would be a disaster because our, turn on, turn off. It happens like it's very easy to feel so aroused. And then something tiny, something little just brings it completely gone. And now I have to climb again, right? And for men, I think this way it happens when they get older. And again, like just embracing it. And like sex is not this, like how people think that it's like genitals interacting. Like there is so much more to sex. It's like people think that it's McDonald's a lot of times, right? It's like one menu that you have like one position, one way you come, just like one way, one sentence you say, that's it, right? But what if we look at it as like a gourmet, different restaurants that you can have different like variety of foods with sex? There are so many turn-ons that we can play with. It can be passionate, it can be kinky, it can be romantic, energetic. It's just like there is so much to explore.
Yeah, and a lot of guys, they're on the pills, some type of pill too. That's another thing. But that affects a lot of guys and their diet. And a lot of times some guys drink too much. You got, the alcohol. No, that don't really help. No,
that's the scene. Like to become older and maintaining good health and good like sexual drive, right? It's important, the healthy stuff, like you say, to eat healthy, to like make sure like to have less like not to put shame on alcohol, like drugs, alcohol, come on, like we all do it once in a while, but just to manage it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because then we can go in this older years and enjoy, and with the sexuality there is the health aspect, and as well being in touch with desires and turn on, like living your full sexual life, because a lot of times people have sex which like it doesn't speak to their whole being. It's not the type of sex they would really enjoy.
Oh,
and then erection is not happening, right? Or then like women feel like there is nothing, no sensation in vagina, like that. Really discovering connection to what you really want, right?
Yeah.
And not force yourself into stuff, or just doing it as obligation. To just really spend time discovering what really what your body wants, what your genitals want.
Exactly. You know, as I've gotten older, you know, a lot of stuff when I was in my 20s, it was kind of like, you know, I'm learning the type of women that I really like being around, you know. So, but as you know, as I got older, I said, "Oh, okay, this is the type of woman that I really like." And once I, you know, discovered that those are the women that I pretty much be around. I don't, a woman that's kind of like, she's okay. I won't really given much time and energy and effort, you know, because I know that if we have sex, it's probably not gonna go as well as I would like, or as well as she would like too. So that's what I've learned as I've gotten older. And another thing, I don't see women and sex and intimacy the same compared to when I was in the 20s.
What changed for you?
Well, I think I changed. I started to learn myself, and I started to learn. You know, as I get older, I start to learn more, and there's you know, this I like to spend most of my time around people that I vibe with, you know. Well, and we don't gotta, I don't have to call you all the time, you know, none of that. But, you know, but I think when I was in my 20s, I was kind of like trying to figure all this stuff out. So by the time I hit my 30s, that's when I was like, oh, okay, I could kind of be like, why did I hit it off with her? But I didn't. But it took me, I don't know, 2 years to really get to know her. You know, little stuff like that. You know, and you know, why does it take less effort with her, but I have to like pull and you know, put in you know, pull teeth, and I have to really talk and try to get her to ask questions, and you know, little stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, and see, and it's like, because we are all different, that what you're discovering works for you, for someone else might be totally opposite. Like some people really like that challenge, and that they like keep like hunting, and that's a turn on for them, right? So that will be a good situation for them. And like for you, maybe you enjoy like more flow and relaxed and kind of right? So that's like goes back to this core desire, that like what person really drawn to do your thing, not to do what your friend does. Or what Lopez said, right? But just like doing what's for you, like really listening, discovering you, and doing what works for you.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so because, you know, and the reason why I even came to that a decision really is because a lot of us, we spend time with a lot of people that they're not really into us like that. A lot of us are like that. We spend time with people that they're not really into us like that. But we want to be with them. We want to be around them. We want to get to know them. But they're not really into you like that. And they probably never going to be into you like that. Because they don't call you. You calling them all the time. You going over their house all the time. But there's no, a relationship it goes both ways. There's no, you know, there's no, you're not getting no phone calls. They never been to your house, you know, So that's why I got to a point where I got to spend time with the people that want to get to know me. You know, and people were standing right in front of my face, and I was pretty much brushing them off or taking them, you know, because, you know, something will happen, you know, and the same people that were there were always there all the time. And the people that I would call that I wanted to be around, wanted to get to know better, I would call them and I'd be like, hey, this happened, that happened. And, oh, sorry to hear that, man. Call me back later.
Yeah.
So a lot of us want the people that don't want us a lot of time.
Yeah, and this is interesting, what you're describing, that it can be that you're not connected to yourself, right? That like, as you say, like as I'm younger, I don't like check in with myself as much. I just go after it. And as I become older, I am more self-aware, right? So I'm choosing what's right for me. So that's one scenario. But as well, what can happen, that desire, that turn on can be for a person to hunt someone, right? Like to go for someone who, it's almost like it feels hot to be put down, to be shut down, to be like humiliated, that it can be a turn on. I'm not saying it's your turn on, but I'm just like, you know, giving an example.
Yeah.
And then person would do it in relationships, but instead what would be healthy to play this scenario in sex. So to still look for relationships that go both ways, but then knowing that, like, let's say maybe it does turn them on to be in this place when person has power over them. That could be played in sex, and it can be so hot and so fun, and it will be like the best experience for them. You know?
Yeah.
So it's interesting how it can play out, like the sexual desires. Sometimes we bring them into relationships, which we don't have to. We could just bring it into sex and play. Sometimes there are some tricky, weird scenarios that really turn people on, but they're like, what my work is to de-shamify it, you know, to remove shame, because we don't choose those turn on. So sometimes, like, for people, like, oh my God, this weird scene like really turns me on, and it feels awkward, it feels shamey. But when we own it and we find people who want to play that with us, or our partner wants to play it, right, then we are having that amazing experience, and we feel, you know, like a normal person.
Exactly. I agree 100%.
You know?
Yeah. So in a perfect world, who's your ideal clients or couples you work with?
Yeah, this is such a great question, because my ideal client is, I really enjoy working with men who are eager to learn about how to become the best lover. That they want to just blow her mind. They want to, you know, like understand what she wants, what she desires, like how to please her, like how to connect with her. And so as we are having the sessions, right, it's experiential, so they practice on me, so I get to experience all of these amazing scenes and give them feedback, and to really, you know, it's such a beautiful process to see someone who doesn't feel confident, who feels awkward, who doesn't know how to make a move, and then to go through the process when they feel so amazing that, like, I am just like, I feel attracted to them, I feel turned on by them, you know, and it's just like, okay, and now you go into the world. So yeah, that's my favorite scenario.
So why is sex important in relationships? And that's my last question. A lot of people will say, you know, why is this even important? I'm a good provider. I pay all the bills. She does whatever she wants. Why is that even? Why is even sex important in a relationship anyway?
That's a wonderful question, because I think sex, and it's not the sex. I'm not talking about genitals rubbing on each other. I'm talking about sexual energy. To be in touch with sexual energy, I think it's important for every person. Either you're in couple or you're outside of couple. that there is like when I did the Tao, I went to Tao teachings, like Tao school, where they look at sexual energy as like a life force energy. And so when you have something like, let's say your kidney is in pain, they will recommend you sexual position where the energy goes through kidney and like you heal it with the sexual energy, right? So I notice when I feel desire, when I feel turned on, when I feel like I am a sexual being, I feel that this presence, I feel alive in other areas, right? Like I have these creative ideas, I want to do stuff, right? And then when sexual energy is turned off, then it just like I'm dragging my foot, like the life, it's like feels like depressed and like it's not happening as well. And again, I'm not talking about having sex, I'm talking about this like sexual energy and being in touch with it. And then when I'm in touch with it and I have sex with my partner, we get closer. There is certain vulnerability we share when we are like, when we have this sexual intimacy with each other. It's just like to look in his eyes and just feel that deep love as he's penetrating me. It's just, there is something so delightful. And then life is flowing in a more enjoyable way. So that's, that's why.
Yeah, you at the end of the day, you become a better person. That's what it's really all about. If you're gonna, live with somebody for a long time, that's what it's really all about, in my opinion.
Yeah. And for those couples who feel like they don't have sex right now, that sex is not happening, that they lost desire, that the spark is lost, there is like, you can discover, like as a couple, you can discover more. And so just don't,
don't give up.
Pursue it. Don't give up. Like go see someone, look for resources on the internet, like go to a workshop. It can be awakened. It just, you might need help from outside. That's it.
Yeah. So if people want to work with you, where would they go to?
Oh, I just, as you say it, my website pops up. That's magic. They are working out some magic. So my website, that people can like learn more about me, and I work one-on-one. My office is located in San Diego, and I work on Zoom. It's beautiful what can happen online, that like the intimacy can be built, like the sexual energy can be flown. And then I offer 15-minute free calls that people can schedule that call from my website, and just to answer questions and see if we are a match, if what I'm doing like will work person, if this method would work for them. And it just, just if you're curious and you even don't plan to schedule a session, just schedule a call. I will be happy to talk to people.
There you have it. Like, share this episode. All links will be found in the show notes. Until next time, we're out. Peace.